everyone. Welcome back to Serve and Serve. I'm your host, Sophie Arrington, and today we have an amazing guest, Miss Allison Pope from California. Hey, Allison, how are you?
Hi, Sophie. I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. So would you like to give the audience a little introduction before we start?
Yeah, I'd love to. So my name is Allison Polk. I'm from the Ponderosa chapter in Northern California. I'm a junior in the program, and my SAE is Market Hawks.
Thank you so much. And before we start, I'm going to give you a few rapid-fire questions just to get us going.
Okay.
So what is a funny FFA memory that you think back to still today?
Ooh, a funny FFA memory. Definitely a time spent in our ag van. One in specific was my first time ever going to an FFA speaking event, and I remember just being the freshman in the back of the van, just looking at all of these seniors just doing their thing, having their fun, and it was definitely a good memory for me, but it also helped me open up and just be more confident and goofy and with the people that I'm with. So definitely the times in the ag van.
Yes, absolutely. And if you had to describe your chapter in one word, what would it be?
It's a good question. One word I would probably use is energetic. We have a lot of different personalities and different interests in our program, so definitely energetic. We have a lot of fun personalities, which there's never a dull moment anywhere we go.
Yes, and that's the best to have. And what would your theme song be?
My theme song, ooh, that's a good one. I am so bad with songs. Oh goodness. Maybe some, whenever, like, again, the ag band, whenever we're listening to music, we listen to some, like, hype 2000s hip hop music. So something along the lines of that kind of pump up music.
Yes. Yes. Your hype song. Yes.
Yeah.
And last but not least, what is your favorite contest in FFA?
My personal favorite contest, so I've done public speaking, I've done Creed, impromptu, and now job interview, and I just finished out my year in job interview, and honestly, that's the one that's just been speaking to me the most. It's the one that I found the easiest flow with, so for me, it'd have to be job interview, and I'm looking forward to doing it next year.
That sounds so fun.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've been in the Blue Jacket for 3 years now. What originally pulled you into FFA?
So it wasn't really a specific moment that I had this light bulb go off of, oh, I need to be an FFA. But really I heard about it from my mom. She wore the blue jacket once and she raised pigs, and my first motive was kind of, okay, that sounds kind of cool. I want to raise a pig. I want to have that same experience. So I decided to follow in those footsteps and make my own path and my own legacy. I started with my mom, and then my chapter came to our middle school for middle school recruitment, and that's when I got a better idea of what FFA is beyond the animals, the leadership aspects that come with it, and the opportunities and the career development stuff. So definitely just hearing about it from my mom, but also hearing it firsthand from the members in my chapter.
Absolutely. And you served as a chapter and a section officer.
Yes.
So how has your year of service been this year?
It's been amazing. I talk about it a lot. I truly enjoy both of my teams, but working with two different teams, that comes with different personalities and different likes and dislikes. So it's been a great year, but it's definitely helps me learn of how to best navigate people and how to listen to them, but also push them to their skills and what they're good at, how their communication style is, their leadership style. It's been great. I've been able to definitely step out of my comfort zone, meet members that I wouldn't otherwise have been meeting, and just create an event for members at the chapter and at the section. Yeah, it's been an amazing experience, but again, just really enjoyed learning how to work with different personality types on a bigger scale.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. What I love most is just hearing how each state FFA association is so different. Like in Mississippi, we don't have areas or districts. We just have a chapter and then state.
So funny, okay.
Yes. So I know California FFA is divided into regions and sections. So can you explain how that system works and what do you cover?
Okay, so it's a little bit confusing. So California has 6 regions, and I'm part of the central region. Each region, when you get down to the north coast and the south, I think this may be the south coast region, but some regions that are a little bit smaller don't have a section team, so it kind of varies on the size of the region. But for the central region, I can talk to the most. The central region is usually the biggest in California, and as a regional officer, you're covering a couple thousand members in the area. But then as a sectional officer, so in the central region, there's 7 different sections, and I'm part of the Sacramento section. So this year I'll be serving as a Sacramento section president. And with that role, me and my officer team cover 14 schools. So we plan events for those specific 14 schools. We try to have 2 community service events and then 1 kind of big gathering in the fall and the spring. But every section is different. So some sections have a camp that they have for their COLC. But the biggest role of a sectional officer and the biggest task we take on is called Chapter Officer Leadership Conference. So that's where those 14 schools that we're covering, we put on a conference for them. And we just show them what it means to be chapter officer. What are you going to be doing? What's some fallbacks you can have on? What's some just tools you can have in your box for the year? And then as a regional officer, they put on a sectional officer leadership conference. So they do the same thing, but for these sectional officers, we kind of get to take what we learned there and put it down into the chapter 1. So that's the big overview of it. It gets a little bit messy, a little bit confusing, but for Central Region, it's the 7 sections, and each one does different things with different tasks.
That sounds awesome to have.
It's great, yeah.
Have you held multiple officer roles, like vice president, secretary, and now president?
Yes.
So what's one lesson each role has taught you?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I like that. So as my chapter's vice president, that kind of taught me that role was really just about supporting my team. As a vice president, you're really just there to support the president. But I found myself supporting the president and supporting the team. So that role definitely taught me how to be a team leader and how to really work with other people, even if, things go the different way or maybe not everyone is on the same page at all the time. So really being that team player. For section last year as a sectional secretary, I would say that one taught me just how to be a servant leader when it comes to just stepping back and letting other people lead, because I had a great team of 5 other girls and we were just amazing. I loved that team. And so that one just, reignited servant leadership skills and just what it meant to be, again, a team player. But as secretary, I also took on the role of, maybe that meant writing things, keeping notes down. But also with section, it's really interesting because I'm working with girls that aren't at my school and team members that, don't come from my school. So I also got to see what they did at their school, and I'm able to take their activities and maybe put it back to my chapter and see, okay, well, how can we collaborate on a different level of bringing things back to my chapter? And then this next year I'll be serving as my chapter's president along with the section president. So that one I'm really excited for. It's going to be a little bit of a leap and a jump, but I'm looking forward to what that'll bring.
Yes, and now as you're serving as your chapter and section president, what's your main mission for the year?
My main mission is for communication and collaboration to really just, as a chapter, really just get kids involved, because we have involvement, but not all across the board. Some of our members are just at the activities to be there, and I want to make activities that are really for them, maybe change it up a little bit. I've noticed that our activities have been the same for the couple of years now, so hearing their voices and hearing what they want is really important to me at a chapter level, and just being able to really, because I know, we have 350 members, so I can't listen to all of them, but I can get a good scope of what's going on and finding ways to keep their involvement throughout the entire year. And for section president, I would say my goal is to just be involved as I can and to find to do more, because section, while it is very important and very vital in our region, we did a lot, but I would like to do more. I want to go to banquets, chapter visits, and really, you can't talk to all 14 schools and all of those members, but you can do what you can. So I really want to see involvement again in my section, but on a higher level of me and the section team. Okay, what can we do? How can we figure out to be more active in these chapters and know that they can support us? So as a sectional president, really just supporting my team in the 14 chapters that I'm looking over.
Absolutely, and that's a great outlook to have. So what's something about serving at a section level that most members don't know or they don't realize?
The behind the scenes that goes to it. Some people just assume that, COLC puts on itself, but there's so much goes behind it. Our first meeting last year was held, I want to say, in July, and from then it was Zoom meetings and meeting up whenever we can, constant group chat text. So section officer is a lot of behind the scenes, because especially that first event that we have where we have COLC, we're just, doing everything, finding that theme, finding our breakout rooms, finding how we want to do. So definitely that behind the scenes work that we do.
Absolutely. And what is the biggest difference from serving as a chapter officer and then as a section officer in California?
The biggest difference from chapter to section in California is, I want to just say the scope of what you do. For a chapter, when you're planning an event, you're only thinking about 350 members, and you're thinking, okay, we can have this during lunch, we can have it in the morning during flex, those kind of things. So the logistics are a little bit easier to figure out. But when it comes to section, Sacramento section is the biggest section in this central region. So we have, Union Mine is right up above Ponderosa, and then we have, about an hour and a half down to go. So there's schools all up and down our section. So the logistics that goes behind planning events, it seems easy, why don't we have more things? Why aren't we doing more things? Well, there's a lot that goes into it, having to find, okay, well, how are we going to get, a school that's an hour and a half down all the way to Ponderosa, and making sure that we have that scheduled ahead of time so we're able to really plan those things ahead. So the difference, I would say, is just the scale of what you're doing, your activities at.
Yes. And so talking about your SAE and your market hogs,
Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so for the past 3 years, I've raised a market pig, and we get our pigs in November, and we have a June fair. Our fair is Father's Day weekend, so what goes into that is, for us, it's every day we're feeding pigs, morning and night, walking them, making sure they're ready for showmanship. But I've loved raising pigs. It's just been an amazing thing to do. It's, it's challenging and it's tough, but, whenever I talk about it, I relate it back to the creed of the joys and discomforts of an agricultural life, because that's really taught me, that creed isn't lying. There's definitely the joys and discomforts.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been great. I got a scholarship from the Golden Harvest of Merit Award, so that one's just been, I got 1,500 from them and from the Heidi Belgian Fund, and that was just really got a jump start for this year, because that was an amazing thing. But yeah, we have our pigs for that amount of time, and then we auction them off, show them at fair, and then the next November we get them again.
Yes. And so what's something about this SAE that taught you that you can bring outside your blue jacket?
For me, it's the agricultural aspect of it. I didn't grow up in an agricultural background, so pigs was the biggest, agricultural thing that I had for a minute. So definitely, in my career, I want to work in ag, and my essay definitely taught me that, because once I got into pigs, I got into cows, and I got into all the other sorts of things. So yeah, definitely just the knowledge of agriculture and the passion that I've found through my SAE.
Yes, that's wonderful. And what's a setback you had in your SAE, and how did you overcome it?
The biggest setback I had, I've been blessed with amazing pigs and haven't had too much of an issue with them, but my biggest setback, I would say, was my freshman year. I had a pig, Peaches. She was a great pig. I was at softball practice one night, I got a call, my mom came on a field, and she's like, we have to go to the farm. And my pig we honestly don't know what happened. She was, walking and tumbling and almost walking like she wasn't fully there, and so we had to get her to our quarantine pen, and I had to give her a shot of penicillin, and that was my first time giving an animal a shot. So while it was a setback of, okay, this animal is sick, it taught me that, okay, well, what's next? You can't in the moment panic and go into chaotic mode. You have to stay calm and figure out what this animal needs in that moment, which that's taught me to stay calm in those chaotic moments where it's hard.
Yes. And it's hard to do that at first. You gotta stay calm and collected and try not to
You don't want to. It's the last thing you want to do.
Yes. And do you see yourself teaching, like you talked about a minute ago, teaching kids? Do you see yourself teaching in the future?
Teaching on a different level. So
Yeah.
in my area, we have something called Ag in the Classroom, or Fields of Learning, and this is a nationwide program. But what it is it's basically a program that coordinates field trips to different farms for kids, elementary school level, and whatever that farm is raising, they teach what it is and why it's important. So my goal is to go to Feather River College up in Quincy and get their degree in ranch management and equine science, and then from there work with Fields of Learning and Ag in the classroom, and just find a way to be a teacher, but not in the classroom, and just solely teach on agriculture while having my own land, my own animals. But my main goal is to show kids agriculture, because kids aren't necessarily exposed to agriculture. So it's an amazing, I love being able to see a smile on their faces when they're touching a cow or a pig for the first time, or learning about, crop side of it. And it really goes what goes into their food. Food doesn't come from the grocery store, so that's my main goal, is just to educate kids on that level about agriculture.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always been told people, because I come from a rural area too, and like I've always been told like, you know, I talk with my friends outside of Mississippi. They're like, yeah, people like are like, oh yeah, kids say their milk comes to the grocery store sometimes, and I never thought like that would happen in Mississippi. But like we went to a daycare like, a couple weeks ago, and I brought my miniature cow with me. And one
Oh.
kid came out and he starts running and said, "Look, it's a pig! It's a pig!"
Oh
So like,
no, you're like,
so
oh.
there, I can actually see,
Yeah,
like the
parent
importance
teaching
of
moment.
agricultural literacy to these
Yeah,
kids.
that's a big thing that I love talking about is ag literacy and just,
Yeah,
no farms, no food. People don't understand
absolutely.
that or don't understand the work that goes into it. So that's, my goal as an ag
Hmm.
advocate.
Yes, and that's so awesome. And so, what makes California FFA different or unique from any other state?
California faith to me is just, I mean, the best way I can describe it is just one big family. We're just one big group.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been to nationals, but I've never been to a Mississippi State Convention, so I can't speak for that. But California Faith truly just feels like a community that you can lean and trust on. And people are so supportive of each other. The wins, the losses, everyone's there for each other, no matter what. So yeah, California Faith it's great. It's competitive, it's passionate, it has a diverse amount of members that are just, unique and passionate about different things. So yeah, I like California FA just for its uniqueness and the supportiveness of its members and just how you always uplift each other no matter the outcome.
Absolutely. Once you zip up the blue jacket, everybody's just one big family. California FFA, y'all's membership is huge.
We do, yes. We have a huge membership, which, has its pros and cons, but definitely more pros. We're huge and it's great. It's lots of fun.
Yeah. And y'all recently wrapped up y'all's state convention.
Yes, we had that in March. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was great.
Did you enjoy it?
So
Yeah.
for my first 2 years, so my freshman and sophomore years, we were in
Mhm.
Sacramento, which is 30 minutes from where I live. But this past year, we were in Ontario, which is a 7-hour drive. It was about an hour and a half flight. Thankfully, we flew, so that was a plus for us. So we were down in Ontario, which is 30 minutes, I want to say, from Disneyland. So it was great. We went to Disneyland. I got to go for the first time. It was great. But yeah, our state convention is just always fun and hype. I want to say it was a Tennessee state officer while I was there, and he was just baffled by the energy we bring at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it was great. It's definitely a party once you step into that arena.
Yes, that sounds like you had an amazing time. So, what's one thing that you learned about yourself through FFA?
For me, it's definitely confidence. My freshman year, state conference was really where I had that moment of realization that FFA is bigger than what I thought it was. And that FFA is really a community. So all throughout elementary school and middle school, I had a really bad stutter. I know it's happened a couple times, but nothing too bad. But I had a stutter, and I, was voluntold to do the creed, and last thing I thought I could ever do, is public speak. You want me to public speak? But thankfully my ed teacher saw passion in me, and I just had to push that stutter aside. And so for me, it's definitely confidence, because I learned that, public speaking, even if your voice shakes, still speak. Because, if you have something to say, the way you say it isn't going to matter. It's just who it reaches, because it's meant to reach somebody. So it's definitely taught me that confidence of, being a leader, but being able to public speak was probably one of the biggest things for me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And last but not least, what is one message you want to share to every FFA member listening to here today?
A message that I just love preaching is everyone at FFA will say it, but just out of your comfort zone, because everyone says it because they've all experienced it. They've been that one shy member that, doesn't they can do anything, and then they experience it and they love it and they're grateful for it. So step out of your comfort zone, but also trust yourself. You're capable of more than you think you could ever do. I don't ever think that I was going to be able to, like I said, public speak or do anything with a leadership aspect to it. So believe that you can, and you will.
Absolutely. I strongly agree. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
today. I really enjoyed being able to talk to you and share your story. It's
Thank
been
you
an
so
honor.
much for letting me share my story.
Of course.